Welcome to episode 3 of the Cleveland Sessions, where Cleveland.com, oWOW Internet Radio, and the Music Box Supper Club introduce you to new music coming from the heart and the fringes of rock and roll. Tonight's guest is Falling Stars, a band led by 2 Cleveland veteran musicians, forming a new path and sound for their musical ambitions. I'm Troy L. Smith. Welcome to the Cleveland Sessions, brought to you by Cleveland.com, oWOW Internet Radio, and the Music Box Supper Club. Cleveland Sessions is committed to bringing you the bands you need to know, and today that is Falling Stars. Guys, how's it going?
Pretty sweet, Gerry.
Yeah, very happy to be here.
So let's start. You guys, relatively new to a lot of people still, but you each individual members are. I want to start with Tim and Chris. You guys have been in the scene for a long time with various bands, whether it's Cobra Verde, Sons of Elvis, Roosevelt. I'm curious, what was your relationship like over those years? You were in the scene, but you never wound up in the same band together.
Well, me and Tim we're both doing a lot of traveling, but we'd cross paths, around the holidays, various points, and we finally sat down and had a beer at the Happy Dog and said, well, let's put this on the stage,
Yeah, and I was a fan of Chris's band from afar. I'd go to see all the shows and stuff like that, but
huge fan.
We were both just busy with our own groups at the time, but this is funny because this is overdue. We've been talking about it for a little while, and it's nice to finally have it materialize.
And you guys finally came together at the tribute show for Sean Kilbane at Happy Dog. What was it about that show that made this a regular thing? Because it could have just been a one-off and, never hear from you two.
It was, Sean was a dear friend of ours, and I brought together a bunch of musicians to play that night. And my band, the Boys from County Hell, were playing, and Tim literally walked in the side door. I was like, come on up, we're doing Bastards of the Young Brother Replacements. And we got done and sat down at the bar and realized, this is the first time we've been on a stage together. Since high school, when I was in the Ignatius Battle of the Bands, and Tim was my sound man. And he had, so he came with his sound equipment, and then he took a look at my little amp, and he said, that's not gonna do. So he went into his car and brought out a Marshall stack. And I played through that, and that was my first introduction to Tim. But we sat down and at the Happy Dog and thought, let's get together next Tuesday and see if we can write some songs. And that's a really weird thing, to sit together with somebody you've never worked with and try to write some tunes. And we wrote a really horrible song, but we had a lot of good, we had a good time doing it. And so we thought, let's do this every Tuesday till we have a record made.
And you did. What was the song that we probably will never hear, I'm assuming?
It was called the E-Riff song. That's how it went. And then the second one we wrote was called Drug Miss? No, She's a Drag was the one that we kept thinking was going to be the hit, and then we finally realized it was really, really horrible.
Now, you guys, you write a bunch of songs, get an album together. Where'd you find these two? Because you had a rule, I think I read, that you didn't want to be in the new band with people you'd been in bands with before.
Right. Yeah, Tim was the architect of that.
Yeah, it's funny, in Cleveland, a lot of bands are so incestuous. There's, one band has 3 members from this group, another band, it's 3 guys with a new bass player, a new singer. So we didn't want to go down that path where I'm just going to get the bass player from my previous band and the drummer from another band. We wanted to keep it fresh. And like Chris, I knew Gerry from high school. He was actually the best friend of my younger brother, so I've known him for over 30 years. And Dave, I've known for how long?
Since before you were in Cobra Verde, maybe since Mint, like 15, 16 years?
Yeah, that sounds about right. So I've known these guys and knew they were very talented, and I've seen Gerry when he comes to town. He's the drummer in Dick Dale's band, so I would see him play live, 3 or 4 times a year. And I just knew at some point we have to play with these guys. So we're very excited to have, the first record Chris and I put together kind of like a jigsaw puzzle, but we're excited as we move forward to have kind of a more organic, bandy kind of vibe as we move into new material.
Have you guys already started writing as the 4 yet?
Yes, we have. We have a new track we'll be playing live in a second. It's called Indigo, that Dave was, Dave's a bass player, but also multi-instrumentalist. May I say that? Is that correct? Yeah, he's pretty hot. So we've been working on a new track, and we've been working as a team on the new material, and as well as a few kind of choice covers. So it's kind of a way to develop, what the next step is. How
do you work out the scheduling? Because you two are still in some of the bands that most people know you for before this. And let's get into you guys. You guys have your own thing going on. Dick Dale, composer, we were talking earlier. How do you figure out when you can get this together? Never mind the fact that Gerry lives in L.A.
Well, it is fun playing with Dick Dale. He's a guitar legend and all that. But when you get a call from Tim Parnin, you know what I mean? You're not, that's a yes. It's just, I don't look at a calendar. I don't do any of that stuff. I go online and I say, oh, Kayak, Cleveland, Spirit Airlines. Nah, that sucks. Okay, Delta. And I come to town and play whenever it is, or wherever it is, wherever we're playing. If there's a show, I mean, I show up and play with these guys.
And Dave, you've got a lot of stuff going on. We were talking earlier, composing a Netflix series.
Yeah. I mean, my schedule is probably the most open. Surprisingly, Gerry is the one in LA, and he's probably the easiest one to pin down. But I'm not in any other bands at the moment, so Fallen Stars is my gig. So I'm up for whatever. You guys just let me know. Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know if that's an indication that Gerry is really cool and flexible, or he has really nothing going on in LA that he can jump on a flight anytime and play a show.
I don't really.
Please respond.
Dick Dale, yeah,
Please
I don't
respond.
Really play with Dick Dale.
What happens if Dick Dale sees this? And you kind of low key in the Dick Dale thing, but he's Dick Dale.
Dick Dale needs to have an internet connection. He's so old school that, I don't think he has an internet connection. But that's why he's Dick Dale, the real thing. He doesn't care about the internet.
Yeah, I called Gerry before the batch of last shows, and he was in Trinidad and Tobago. And then I called him for the batch of this shows, and he was in St. Lucia. So, world traveler, and it's easy for him to pop into Cleveland from time
Dick
to
Dale
time.
or just in St. Lucia?
I was just on vacation.
Can you expand on that vacation? Any highlights? I mean, they're going to be more interesting than our album, I guarantee you.
Well, yes, I will say they do have this thing in St. Lucia. It's a sulfur mud bath. And, you look at me, you say, how do you get the glowing skin, Gerry? How do you keep yourself looking so young? You got to go to St. Lucia once a month. You get a sulfur mud bath. You put it on. Don't be shy with it. There's some other people there, some locals, some tourists. Slather yourself in it and get in the hot, warm water. It actually comes up from an underground volcano. And it's a hot water. And then you rinse it off, and then you look like this.
Rock and roll. I like that. First music video just laid out. Right there.
Really, right?
Talk to me about the mindset of writing songs, because again, when you formed this band, you didn't want it to sound like other projects that you had been in before.
Right. And that was a big rule. And one of the nice things with Tim, he'd seen some of the other approaches that I had vocally, and was always trying to push me to be that inner rock kid, arrogant, whatever you want to fill in the blank. And then we just worked on parts. We would just sit there and work on songs. Some of them kind of fell out of the sky. The ones like The Wrong Way Out probably took us 2 years to finish. So it was just song by song. It was a new challenge, Go.
That is correct. Well said.
Did you have a favorite song to play? I mean, I just saw you guys play, The Wrong Way Out. That was fantastic. Is that, one of the highlights for you live?
Yeah, I mean, that one has a lot of energy. So that one's a no-brainer, kind of catchy. But, yeah, I mean, I would say so. Fellas?
I like the ones that have the most lyrics in them. A lot of me time, you know what I'm saying? Like Maureen Divide, it doesn't have the whole band in it, a whole lot of it. You know what I mean? They don't come into like the middle. So it's a big spotlight. What do you think? What do you think about that, Dave? What about you?
I like the new one.
Indigo. Dave's a fan of the Indigo. Gerry?
I like Down and Out in Ohio because, being from Ohio, I can understand that, and I've been down and out here. And so it's fun to play. There's a certain energy and an angst to it, and I don't know, it just feels very natural to get, I'm not even thinking. It's just fun. I'm just playing the drums like it's 14, and I'm down and out in Ohio.
So what's next for you guys? Layout 2018 for me. Are you looking to record a new album, get something out this year? A lot of touring, I'm assuming?
Yeah, we're looking to play kind of anywhere, anytime. We're doing the Bright Winter Fest in February, and we're working on writing new material, and we will definitely be in the studio by the end of the year. But we're looking to get New York and our different spots that we've been hitting regularly, so we'll be keeping busy. And
sulfur baths, right?
Yes, I mean monthly. I guess that's what I'm told.
All right, cool. Thanks, guys. You can check out this interview along with the performance. Great performance the guys delivered at Cleveland Sessions at cleveland.com/Cleveland Sessions. You can also check it out on our YouTube channels and all over social media.
Thanks for having us.